Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. And we're here today with special guest, financial expert Nick Nefouse, who's here to share with us when nest eggs need a safety net. So are you getting ready to retire and you have some questions in regards to if you're really financially ready to do that? So we're going to explore one of the many options that are available to you. So Nick Nefouse is the Global Head of Retirement Solutions in BlackRock's Multi-Asset Strategies and Solutions team and head of LifePath, BlackRock's global target date fund franchise, helping millions around the world save and invest for retirement. So welcome to the show, Nick Nefouse.
Thank you.
What an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this. I think when it comes to finances, so many people aren't really sure where to start or what to do. So, what do you suggest?
In terms of where to start, the first thing I would suggest is, and it's such a big question, but the first thing I would suggest is make savings part of your monthly routine. And even before we think about retirement savings, setting up an emergency savings account for yourself is very important. So the way that I was always taught is you always want to take money out immediately when you get that paycheck, set up a separate bank account. So a savings account versus a checking account to start peeling off some of that money into a savings account that can cover any sort of emergencies that you might have. From there, you would step up into more things like retirement savings, which we can also talk about.
Well, let's talk about that. So, I know a lot of times when people do have a little bit of a nest egg together, and maybe it's kind of accumulated over time, they're kind of wondering, well, what do I do now?
So I would break this down into two different groups. One group is the group with the corporate 401k plan, and the other group is without. And it works out to be about half of the country does not have a 401k or 401k type plan. If you have a 401k plan, the best message that I can deliver is, assuming you have your emergency savings set up and you're now saving more, is to at least save up to your corporate match. So the corporate match is the amount of money that most employers will add in on top of whatever money you put in the portfolio. So that's very important to at least get to that match, because that match is basically free money. For the people that don't have access to a 401k plan, what you want to do is start investing in market-based portfolios. These are things like stocks and bonds. We launched a series of ETFs to help with this late last year. They're simply called the LifePath ETFs. The idea of the LifePath ETFs is any individual with a brokerage account and $25 can start saving the same way that we would build corporate 401k plans. And this is with a target date fund. So target date funds start off more growth oriented when you're young, and then they become more conservative as you get closer to retirement. So if you simply go into a brokerage account, buy the LifePath ETFs, what that's going to help you do is a very low cost, professionally managed, diversified portfolio that's going to help get you to retirement.
So, how does the work that you do differ than some of the other folks out there that are, um, helping people invest their money?
All of our work focuses around a concept called human capital. The idea of human capital is we want to understand how individuals earn money over a lifetime. So what we're not trying to do is just build portfolios of stocks. We want to link that portfolio to how an individual is going to earn money over a lifetime. And then importantly, when they're in retirement, how they're going to spend in retirement. So we're using real world data, whether it's the Census Bureau data that we get or a study out of the University of Michigan called the Panel Study on Income Dynamics. It's a lot to say, census and panel study of income dynamics. What that basically looks at, though, is a lot of survey data to understand the different behaviors of Americans in their working years and then in their retirement years. We take all of that information. We then want to build portfolios that will help individuals both save as well as invest for retirement. So everything is linked to your ability to earn money over a lifetime and then save.
So, I know BlackRock's, I believe it was CEO Larry Fink talked about rethinking retirement. So, what does that look like?
What it looks like is turning 401k plans into something more similar to traditional pension plans. And when Larry talks about this, what he's specifically talking about is guaranteed income. We've done a lot of work on this around the amount of impact guaranteed income has on people's financial health as well as mental health. There's a lot of stress when people get to retirement. And what we want to do is basically create a 401k plan with a paycheck if you decide to use it. So specifically, what we've done is we've taken new types of insurance contracts that we've created with Brighthouse and Equitable, two insurance companies, and we've embedded them into our institutional target date funds. So they make up to 30% of the portfolio around the age of 65. And what the individual is able to do is when they get to retirement, and they can choose any time between 59 and a half and 72, and that just coincides with US tax laws, they can choose to take this 30% of their portfolio and turn it into a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of their life. And that paycheck is backed by the two insurance companies. So what we've designed is this ability to have a growth portfolio, which will then slowly convert more into guaranteed income. So in retirement, an individual is going to have this higher level of guaranteed income in addition to what they're already getting from Social Security. And we think that's going to lead to a lot more happiness and consistency in retirement.
What are some of the major questions that you receive when you're talking to people about this program?
So the first one we get a lot of is around the traditional friction in purchasing an annuity. So these are annuity-like contracts, but what we've done is we've created a new type of insurance, and this is liquid during accumulation, which is different than a traditional annuity. You also don't have to take this. So if you get to retirement, you can liquidate the portfolio, and these units that we've been buying really just looked and felt like bond funds. So there's a yield, a duration, a credit quality. So when you get to retirement, you don't have to take the income stream if you don't want to. You can retire and liquidate the portfolios. That's where most of the questions come in. We get a lot of questions around why did we choose to do this in a target date fund? And then the follow-on question is usually, when can I buy this in a retail account?
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with financial expert Nick Nefouse. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
It's one thing to become attached to your perfect home, but what do you do when that home becomes attached to you? A family in dire need of a fresh start, a mysterious house tied to the past. Buried deep within the foundation of the old Far Hill Manor lies a centuries-old secret. Dark forces or something stronger just waiting to be discovered. Caretaker, a supernatural thriller by breakout authors R.J. Halpert.
Are you a coffee lover who wants to make a difference? Look no further than Fire Department Coffee, a veteran-owned business that gives back to support first responders in need. Each batch of coffee is freshly roasted right here in the USA by a dedicated team of first responders and coffee experts. So when you enjoy a cup of Fire Department coffee, you're not only drinking high-quality coffee, you're supporting members of your community. Start your day with a coffee that gives back. Visit firedepartmentcoffee.com. That's fire, D-E-P-T, coffee.com.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special. When you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guest Nick Nefouse, and he's here to share with us BlackRock's LifePath Paycheck. So what does account access look like for people that are maybe wanting to pull funds out at some point?
So the way that this would work is if you decided to annuitize, and we're talking about LifePath Paycheck here, the specific strategy that we've created, what would happen is we'll just use the 65-year-old in the US. So a 65-year-old, if they decide to annuitize, roughly 30% of the portfolio would be in these insurance contracts. Those would roll over to Brighthouse and Equitable's general account. That's where the insurance would sit, and then you would begin getting a paycheck almost immediately. That paycheck is the illiquid annuity now. So 30% of your assets become illiquid, but pay out for the rest of your life. 70% would remain in your 401k plan, and we just rebalance into a diversified growth portfolio. You can liquidate that 70%. You can roll it over to a financial advisor. You have the same level of flexibility that you had previously with that 70% of assets. But for the individual, what they're now getting is Social Security, which we also help them understand the Social Security within this framework. They're getting a guaranteed income from Brighthouse and Equitable, and then they still have access to 70% of their 401k assets in a liquid portfolio.
So I'd like to dive into the guaranteed lifetime income a little bit more. What does that look like?
So these are what we figured out is how deferred annuities price day over day. So the way that we think about this is like a fixed income portfolio. And we start buying this at age 55 at about 8% of the assets in LifePath Paycheck. And then we accumulate we dollar cost average in up to about 30% of the portfolio at age 65. So these insurance units that we've put into the portfolio, they're going to look and feel like a bond fund. Because what you're doing is what you're really buying here is $1 of future income at 55, at 56, at 57. Every time we make allocations, you build up these dollars of future income. So there's a yield associated with them, a duration, which is the term in which you're going to own the bonds, and then a credit quality. So it looks and feels like a longer duration investment grade bond fund is how it feels. But when you get to retirement, you can convert those units into the guaranteed income units.
That's awesome. And does that amount ever go down?
It could. We hope it doesn't go down. It could go down in accumulation. So while you're still saving for retirement, based on some rebalancing rules, this gets fairly technical. It could. That's not the idea, though. The idea is you're going to continue to grow your income over time. Now, when you annuitize, this is a fixed annuitization. So the number will not go down over time. You would lock in the rate, and they would pay that rate out at the same frequency for the rest of your life.
That's so good to know. It's so great that you have, like, BlackRock has this product available, especially for people that can't really invest in other ways.
We look at the role that we play is trying to help those kind of middle income Americans who have saved the right amount but might not have access to financial advice. So for the very high earners, many of these people will have access to financial advice, and that's great. We seek that. We encourage them to seek out the financial advice. For the people in the middle income, people that have worked for their lives, we're trying to help them with these low cost, professionally managed, diversified portfolios. And we've been doing that with our traditional LifePath funds. So this is a very low cost way of saving for retirement. And the feature that we've now added in is, can we actually help them in retirement with guaranteed income, utilizing the same framework that has worked for the last 30 years since we've created target date funds?
So what do you see the future of LifePath Paycheck? How do you see this evolving?
It's a big question. We just launched it a couple of weeks ago, and I think there's a lot of conversations internally. I think first and foremost, we want to establish this product. So we have 15 clients that have signed up now. We're going to begin funding these. We funded the first one a couple of weeks ago. We'll fund these throughout the next year or so. Total assets on this will be about $27 billion once all 15 clients have funded. From there, what we want to spend a lot of time on is understanding the individuals that are in retirement. How can we help them more? How can we position this better for them to understand the benefit that they're getting? That, I think, is what we're doing right now. From there, what we're looking at is where can we bring this into new structures? So right now, this is only available in a very specific structure in 401ks, an institutional structure in 401ks. How can we bring this to more people similar to the ETF that we launched? How can we put this into a different market, in a retail market, so that half of Americans that don't have access to 401k plans, how can we help those Americans as well? There's another nuance in there which I think is really important. One of the things that we did with LifePath Paycheck is we really cracked this idea around insurance and traditional asset allocation. Normally what happens is you would go to an insurance advisor and you would go to a financial advisor, two separate conversations. The insurance person would talk to you about insurance. The financial person would talk to you about stocks and bonds. What Paycheck really did was it combined the two of those into a single view. So we would say at BlackRock, we created a whole portfolio. And that whole portfolio was stocks, bonds, and insurance, all geared to the same outcome, which is spending in retirement. So as I think about how this works moving forward, there's nothing on the whiteboard yet, but I think you're going to see more insurance products come into traditional asset allocation products because we don't understand why those should be separate. It's all part of the same outcome.
Well, it'd just like be going to a doctor for a sinus infection and having them say, well, now I need to send you to your general doctor. I mean, this is really financial health, being able to have it all together in one place.
Yeah, I think the medical analogies are a great metaphor. And I think that, if I think about medical and I think about financial planning, I find it so similar because there's so many parts of this that individuals have to get right. It's not just about, did I go to the doctor, but I've got to go to my doctor, my general practitioner. I've got to go to the dentist. Dentist is very important. I've got to have some sort of a fitness routine, whether that's just walking. We talked about walking 10,000 steps in the past. Is this, what type of working out am I doing? What is my diet? It's this holistic, and we call that a holistic wealth. We think about this in terms of financial services as whole portfolio. So how do all of these things work together to get you to a better outcome? And I think the huge step that we made in Paycheck was embedding insurance into asset allocation. The insurance is not a bolt-on. It's actually part of the overall process and part of the modeling.
Well, Nick, where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about BlackRock's LifePath Paycheck?
So the best place is the BlackRock website, which is just blackrock.com. In there, there's a new retirement income hub that we've created. They can find the retirement income hub. The other piece that I would leave you with is for those people just trying to understand retirement, we created a very simple tool. It's available to the public. There's no email sign up or anything like that. It's simply called the LifePath Spending Tool. The LifePath Spending Tool will link you to many of the things that I've talked about. What it'll help you understand is how much your lump sum is worth an annual income for the rest of your life.
Well, that is very exciting. Well, Nick, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Nick. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about BlackRock's new LifePath Paycheck and when our nest eggs need a safety net. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Mary Ann, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Mary Ann is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Mary Ann will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmaryann.com for more information.